Holding books gives that tangible connection to the past and brings the immediacy to the person here in the current time. My name is John Weste. I'm the Parliamentary Librarian here in the Parliament House of South Australia. Parliamentary Library does all manner of things. We are properly called a special library, which means we have a small library with a very specific objective, and that is to support the members of the Parliament and their staff in their parliamentary duties. The other things, of course, we do is to develop our book preservation and conservation program. I think the books are important for so many reasons. A lot of it is purely subjective. There are books that I like to look at, and it's one of those things. It really struck me in one sense. There are a number of examples here, but one really struck me when the Japanese ambassador came. He brought his wife with him, and I brought out the material we've got on Japan. And it's small, but some very nice things. And one of them was a publication by the then Commodore Perry. He was the American who forced Japan to open to trade, gunboat diplomacy in effect, but he was the American who did that. And after he went back to the United States, he published. So I got out his 3 volumes of books and the volume of maps. And I laid out the maps, and the ambassador's wife, we were going through them all, and the ambassador's wife, she said in Japanese that, "But I only ever read about this in school," and she could have it in front of her. And I think that was it's always that wow moment where you think, I've read about this, but when you can actually see the publication. One that always personally struck me was the Mutiny on the Bounty is famous, whether through Hollywood film, Pitcairn Island, all of that kind of thing. We've got his publication on the Bounty, William Bligh's book, and I pulled it out. It's not worth a great deal of money, but it's not the dollar value of the book, but you can pull out William Bligh's book on the Bounty. You open it up, and the first thing you do is open up a double sheet which has a schematic of the Bounty with all these little circles, and each circle is where a breadfruit plant was put on the ship. And you look and think, I can touch this, I can hold this, and I think that's quite an amazing thing. The last couple we've had done is a set of 6 volumes on American Indians, published in the mid-1800s. From far as we can tell, it's the only copy held in a library in Australia. I mean, there may be private collections, obviously, but he treated the leather. We've put them all in solid cases, and they've come up beautifully. In terms of access to the library, because we are this special library, it's not really a public library. The State Library has that broader function in terms of providing library services and support to the state as a whole. Because we are small and located in Parliament, most of our resources are directed directly to supporting members of Parliament. So we're just not equipped, resourced, or able to support in that broader sense. What I've tried to do as compensation for that is firstly be very encouraging to public tours coming through. As I said, we had nearly the 10,000 last year, and I think that's great. We do get involved with school visits. Even at the moment, we're helping members with their virtual tours. If they come through the library, we help with that kind of thing as much as we can. We're developing our social media sites, Facebook and Instagram, and if we get books restored, we'll put up pictures of this has happened to this book, here's some of the reasons why we restored it, this is how we restored it, and this is the kind of content it's protecting. So it's not a public library, but we try and do as much as we can within the context of our physical location and the resources we've got.